Bastian and his family drive to the countryside to spend the summer at a friend's lakeside cottage. When they arrive, they are surprised to find the place empty and the power out. Despite this, they settle in, and the parents even go for a swim in the dark lake. Soon after, a storm starts, and the family sleeps through the rain. In the middle of the night, Bastian wakes up to see a shadowy figure of a young woman standing in front of him. The figure then lies down next to him, and Bastian falls back asleep. In the morning, Bastian learns that Louise, his mother's best friend and the cottage owner, has returned. As they prepare breakfast, Bastian asks his mother, Violette, for his gaming console, and she points him to the piano where she left it. He gets distracted by the piano, while his younger brother, Titi, is scolded for eating chips before breakfast. Louise asks her daughter, Chloe, if she woke the boys up last night, but Chloe complains about them being in her room. She goes back to her room, but her mother tells her to take the boys to the port, threatening to take away her phone if she doesn't. Chloe agrees and takes them. While Titi plays by the lake, Bastian watches Chloe enjoy the sun. Titi shows Bastian the rocks he collected, and Bastian suggests he collect more to sell. After Titi leaves, Bastian offers Chloe a drink. She asks him about lying to Titi, then wonders if he already has a phone. Bastian says he'll get one for his next birthday. Chloe then takes off her clothes and jumps into the lake, inviting Bastian to join her. He hesitates and wades into the water but decides not to swim. Chloe teases him, saying he's afraid of the ghost. Bastian looks confused, so Chloe tells him about a legend where a child died in the lake years ago. Bastian tells Chloe he doesn't like swimming because he almost drowned years ago. Chloe, however, is curious about the feeling of drowning. Suddenly, she dives underwater. Later, at sunset, Chloe lies down in the middle of the road. The brothers then show her photos they took of her in that spot, but Chloe complains that she didn't look dead enough. The next day, both families take a speedboat ride across the lake, though Bastian keeps watching Chloe the whole time. They eventually reach the house of Louise's new boyfriend, Brian. When asked how Louise and Violette know each other, they explain that their mothers were best friends, so they grew up together. While the adults chat, the kids watch a show until Chloe invites Bastian to do something else. She takes him to a pond up the hill, where she shares a bottle of wine she took from Brian's house. Chloe then asks Bastian to hold her hand, comparing the size of her smaller hand to his, even though she is older. She also has him touch her fingers, saying they feel cold, as if she's dead. Bastian laughs and says she thinks of strange things, so Chloe asks if he never thinks of such things. He admits he does and shares an example, how a person can't bite themselves hard enough to bleed because the pain would make them stop. Chloe dares herself to try it, but gets interrupted when her friend Stan arrives with his new friend Oliver. The men talk about Chloe's recent breakup, but feel uncomfortable discussing it around Bastian, so they invite her to go somewhere else. Chloe, however, invites Bastian to follow them. The group walks through the woods, where Oliver reveals that he is Brian's son. The conversation turns to Brian and Louise's relationship, with Stan asking how close they've become. When they reach the lake, Stan jumps in, but Chloe warns Oliver that her mom might break up with Brian since she hasn't been in a serious relationship for a long time. Oliver says he hopes they stay together because he likes Louise. Suddenly, Stan yells and rushes out of the water, claiming something grabbed his ankle, thinking it was a ghost. His friends don't believe him and think he's joking. Stan dares them to get in the water if they don't believe him. Chloe and Oliver agree to join him, but Bastian decides to head back to the cottage so he doesn't feel left out. As he walks through the woods alone, Bastian hears a voice but sees no one. He starts walking faster, only for Chloe to jump out and scare him. She decides to walk back with him, and they share her wine bottle as they return to the cottage. Once back, Bastian feels sick from the wine, so Chloe helps him to the bathroom. Afterward, she guides him into the shower to clean up. To his surprise, she joins him in the tub and starts washing him. The closeness makes Bastian feel drawn to her, especially when she starts washing herself as well. Later that night, Bastian wakes up and goes for a glass of water. He hears something outside and finds Chloe in the lake, bathing in the dark. The next day, the family gets ready for a picnic, but Chloe stays in bed, sleeping. They enjoy their day until Chloe wakes up in the afternoon and takes her bike for a ride. Bastian wonders if he can borrow a bike from the cottage, so his father, Roman, fixes one for him. While they work, they overhear Chloe arguing with someone on the phone. That night, Bastian asks his mother about the story of someone drowning in the lake. Violette asks Louise about it, but Louise says Chloe made it up. One afternoon, Bastian is sitting by the port listening to music when he sees a figure in the lake covered with a white cloth. As it gets closer, he panics and pushes it into the water. The figure floats without moving, so Bastian tries calling to it. Suddenly, Chloe appears from under the cloth, scolding him for not trying to save her. She then invites him to a party and later asks for his help getting ready. As she searches for clothes, Bastian can't help but glance at her body. She then tells him to find something else to wear and throws him a shirt to borrow. They grab a white cloth and head out. On their walk, Chloe wonders if there will be ghosts when they die. Bastian replies that they may not have a choice. Chloe shares her belief that ghosts don't realize they are dead. When they reach the party, Chloe asks Bastian to help her with something. She offers a drink to a guest and encourages Bastian to find someone he likes, asking what attracts him. Just then, Oliver arrives and leads them to the backyard, where Stan and their friends are. The group starts watching strange videos, and Stan even invites Bastian to join, despite Chloe's protests. Though Bastian doesn't like what he sees, he pretends not to be bothered. Oliver then points out how much he and Chloe look alike, and Chloe starts treating him like a brother. As the party continues, Chloe spots her ex-boyfriend, Jackson, with a new girl. Upset, she starts drinking more and accepts Oliver's offer to dance. She drags Bastian with her, and they join the crowd, dancing to the music. Bastian, wearing a ghost mask and feeling more confident from the alcohol, impresses the crowd with his moves. Eventually, he gets tired and steps back, watching Chloe have fun with Oliver. Feeling jealous, Bastian goes back to the crowd but gets accidentally elbowed in the nose, causing it to bleed. While he bleeds, he sees Oliver getting closer to Chloe. To calm himself, Bastian leaves the party and bites his hand, trying to prove he's tough, but it doesn't help. He then comes across a dead deer on the road, seemingly hit by a car. Bastian ignores the dead deer and continues walking home. Later, as he sleeps, he wakes up feeling embarrassed after his dream. He quickly cleans up in the bathroom. While he's getting dressed, he hears Chloe coming home. In a hurry, he jumps into bed, covering himself with a blanket just before she enters the room. Bastian asks how the party went, and she tells him they stopped dancing after he left because the neighbors complained about the noise. She also mentions seeing her ex-boyfriend there, and Bastian asks why they broke up. Chloe invites him to her bed to talk without waking his brother. She keeps herself covered with the blanket while they talk. She explains that Jackson broke up with her because she refused to do certain things he wanted. Despite that, he spread rumors that they had already been intimate. Bastian asks if she has been with a man, and Chloe says no, because she finds the idea of the first time making her bleed disgusting. Bastian shares that his brother often has nosebleeds, so he's used to blood. Chloe laughs, saying that's different. As they prepare to sleep, Bastian gets up, but Chloe asks him to stay and cuddles with him. The next day, Chloe directs Bastian, dressed like a ghost, as she takes a spooky picture. They try to bite their hands until they bleed to prove it's possible, but fail. They then share their biggest fears. When Bastian admits his fear is being caught satisfying himself in front of his parents, Chloe laughs and teases that she thought he was afraid of water. To prove he's not, Bastian walks into the lake, with Chloe daring him to go further. She even teases him, saying she'll reveal herself if he goes deeper. As Bastian gets further in, Chloe suddenly runs back into the woods, making him hurry back to shore. He's disappointed to see her talking to Oliver. Feeling upset, he decides to go home alone. Later, Chloe returns and quickly changes before crying in her bed. Wanting to comfort her, Bastian brings her some ice cream. It cheers her up a little, and she opens up, saying that her biggest fear is dying, and that's what she thinks will happen to her. Chloe doesn't want to go back to the lake, but Bastian suggests that her biggest fear is not fitting in and being alone. He reassures her that she's not alone and will always have her ghost. He admits that her fear is better than his, and Chloe comments that his fear is the worst she's heard of. To show him that his fear isn't so bad, Chloe does something that makes Bastian feel uncomfortable. When she hears her mother coming up the stairs, Bastian quickly hides in the closet to avoid being caught. Afterward, Chloe changes the topic and asks what's for dinner, which irritates her mother, who jokingly threatens to serve a rat. Once her mother leaves, Bastian comes out of the closet and Chloe laughs. At sundown, Chloe and the brothers start working on a puzzle when Brian and Oliver arrive. The two join them for dinner, but Bastian stays outside at the patio table, not wanting to watch Chloe interact with the other man. Later, Bastian joins Chloe and Oliver, and Chloe shares the photo they took of the ghost. Oliver wonders why she's so interested in the ghost story, but Chloe insists that she believes it's real, while Oliver thinks it's childish. Chloe excuses herself to get a drink, leaving Bastian and Oliver alone. Oliver advises Bastian to go to bed, but Bastian refuses, not wanting to leave Chloe alone with him. Oliver then brings up how it seemed like Chloe revealed something personal to Bastian earlier, making him wonder if they've become close. Bastian lies and says they have, which makes Oliver praise him. When Chloe returns with drinks, she suggests having a contest to see who can bite themselves until they bleed. Later, Bastian washes the blood from his hand, acting like he participated in the contest. As they prepare for bed, Chloe admits that she doesn't want him to leave. Bastian shares that he feels the same. Then Chloe turns off the lights, and they hug before both going to sleep. Afterward, Chloe cleans up and turns on the lights, laughing about what happened with Bastian. This makes her feel even closer to him, and he ends up staying the night, watching her sleep. The two spend the rest of the summer together, growing closer as they have fun. But soon, Bastian's parents talk about leaving for the city the next day. At lunch, Chloe gets a disturbing message, which makes her walk away from the table. Bastian follows her into the kitchen, but she calls him a liar before rushing out. She grabs her bike and rides off to clear her mind, not returning until late. When she arrives, Bastian pretends to be asleep, but he finds out she only picked up her jacket and left again. This time, Bastian follows her to a bonfire where she is hanging out with her friends. Stan sees him and invites him over, then mentions rumors that Bastian had slept with Chloe. This makes Chloe upset and she avoids him. Bastian watches as Chloe spends more time with Oliver, which makes him feel jealous. The two go into the woods, and Bastian worries about what might happen between them. He tries to forget it and joins the others, even trying smoking for the first time. The next day, Bastian sees Chloe kissing Oliver by the lake. Their friends suggest stealing wine, but instead dare each other to swim across the lake. Bastian tries, but he's too slow and disappears underwater. Later, Violet and Roman say goodbye to Brian and Louise. Before leaving, they visit a memorial for Bastian, who drowned in the lake. Bastian's ghost, confused, tries to return to Chloe's house. He finds her grieving and calls out, and eventually Chloe hears him, realizing the boy from her stories has come true.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and stay connected with us.